This week on TGC News, gun industry news, new guns, and a sneaky deal of the week. Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective News. I'm John Patton, and this week marks the 9-year anniversary of TGC. I'll get into that more at the end of the episode. Before we jump into the news, I had a few people ask, so I'm going to share this with the rest of the class. You will be able to watch all of the live streams from GunCon. There's 3 individual panels, plus some other stuff right here on TGC. YouTube is the best viewing experience, but we're going to be streaming it to as many places as possible. Just keep an eye out. June 29th is the day. Mark it down because you don't want to miss it, and we all know YouTube is not going to tell you. Facebook's not going to. These places will not let you know, so mark it down. Now, the news. We had 2 monumental victories for the 2A this past week. I mean, just absolutely massive. If you haven't heard by now, a federal district judge in Texas has vacated the pistol brace rule. What that means is that the pistol brace stuff is dead for now. I say it that way because I'm sure ATF is cooking up a way to bring it back somehow, but for now, it's dead. We also saw a huge victory in the bump stock case. The Supreme Court not only decided to hear that case, which is awesome, but they ruled in favor of freedom and ruled that bump stocks are not, in fact, machine guns. Now, we here at TGC, Adam and I, did a slow motion analysis video on this 5 years ago, and as we all knew the entire time, they are not machine guns. They never were. This ruling confirms that. I'm sure we will get a bit into that discussion on the 2A panel at GunCon, which has a bunch of the groups from the 2A space, plus a bunch of your favorite content creators. You know who else will be at GunCon? This week's sponsor, Infrared Outdoor. Infrared Outdoor offers some of the best thermal imaging devices around. Whether you're looking for something handheld that won't break the bank like the AFO, which is under $1,000, or perhaps something to go on your rifle like the rugged infrared compact optic, aka the Rico, or maybe something flat out amazing like the M6 with its built-in rangefinder and 360-degree movement to mount on your freaking vehicle. That is so cool. They've got you covered. From security to household use to hunting and everything in between, Infrared Outdoor has something for everyone. To find a dealer near you, hit the link in the description or go to infraredoutdoor.com. Now, how's about some new guns? Smith & Wesson released one this week that had me questioning reality a little bit. It's the M&P 2.0 metal frame gun, but it's chambered in .40 Smith & Wesson. Now, obviously this is basically the same gun as the 9, but with a couple minor tweaks. But I find it super weird that in 2024 they're even offering that. This could mean one of 3 things in my mind. Either they see a legitimate market for it still, which I find that hard to believe, or they had a bunch of parts laying around and wanted to make use of them. Okay, that's viable. Or they are trying to keep a caliber relevant because it has their name attached. Also viable. I'll let you guys weigh in down in the comments on that one. H&R is in the news this week with 2 new retro guns. First is the 635, which is similar to the old school Colt SMG kind of things, in that it takes Colt 9mm mags, it has a 10.5-inch barrel, and their own pistol brace thing on the back end. MSRP there is $11.50. There's also the TIA, or This Is Africa, pistol in 5.56 that has a 10-inch barrel and a bunch of other parts that make it straight out of the Blood Diamond era. It also has their pistol brace out back, which is kind of cool. You get to see that coming to life now more, that's dead. Because the prior few years where brands were releasing pistols without braces and selling them at the same price, it's kind of nonsense. MSRP on the 5.56 is also $11.50. Clone guys, I know there are some of you out there watching. Do these interest you? Savage is in the news this week with yet another version of the 110. They currently have 52 versions of this gun on their website, which is just insane. This new one is called the Trail Hunter Light. It's meant to be an all-around hunting rifle because the other 52 didn't quite serve that purpose. They come with a 20-inch threaded barrel unless you buy the 350 Legend, and then you get the 18-incher. They all come with a Hogue overmolded stock, a tungsten Cerakoted action, and different barrel contours depending on the cartridge. The gun itself weighs right around 7 to 7.5 pounds, which isn't exactly a lightweight gun, but it's not offensively heavy either. It's about a half a pound to a pound lighter than the standard Trail Hunter model. MSRP is $670 across the board, which is, again, not super offensive. To me, this is the type of gun that gets sold a boatload at gun store for folks that aren't really sure what they want, so they just want to buy a gun. They go, I'll just take that one. It's a middle ground rifle for middle ground people. B&T USA released a new one in their SPR line. It's the SPR 86, and for those of you with your thinking brain going on, you will gather that it's chambered in 86 blackout. B&T USA is bad at their job, so there's basically zero info about this gun on their website, but they say it's similar to the SPR 300, which is a 300 blackout bolt action. Also integrally suppressed. The twist rate on the 86 will likely be something silly like 1 in 3 to stabilize those super heavy bullets, but I still think it's interesting to see this caliber being adopted in such a way. The SPR 86 comes as what they call a deployment pack that includes scope rings, a rail extension for clip-on thermal or night vision, 2 10-round SR-25 style mags, a QD bipod, and a soft case. The can itself, the suppressor part of it, is a 3D printed titanium, which is neat. The gun should weigh around 8.5 to 9 pounds. Again, no info on that. MSRP for the kit is $55.25. I know they make nice stuff, but damn. I want to know how you guys feel about 86 Blackout in general. I've got a barrel for one, but I haven't assembled it yet because ammo is still stupid as hell. Like the prices, I mean, it's fun to shoot, but that ammo, I don't know, man. Especially not in a semi-auto. Like, that's a lot of money to throw down range. I have a deal of the week for you guys this week, but you will have to move quickly on it. Tipton just released their new 360 vise, and what they don't know is that if you use my link, you get 20% off of everything over there, right? And they didn't turn it off for this brand new vise, and that makes it the best price on the internet, and it's a pretty neat setup as well. There's a link in the description. Hit that, and then go find the 360 vise on their website. Go do that before someone gets pissed and shuts it off. I've got a couple more new guns for you guys this week. First is one from Sako, or Seiko, depending on how you pronounce it. They say Sako. It's called the TRG-62A1. This is essentially the big brother to the already big boy TRG-42 in 338 Lapua Magnum. This new one is chambered in 9.5 by 77, otherwise known as 375 Chi-Tac, and they claim that it extends the reach to out over 2,000 meters or 2,187 yards. For reference, that cartridge has a rough muzzle velocity of 3,000 feet per second using a 350 grain projectile, and if you wanted to buy ammo, it would cost you about $15 per round. The new rifle has a cold hammer forged barrel with a 1 in 8 twist that is 30 inches long. It's also got a gigantic brake on the end to tame that recoil, which is nice. The mag holds 7 rounds, aka $105 in ammo. And there is no price listed, but I'm betting it's going to be north of 10 grand if you can even find one in the States anytime soon. And rounding us out on guns this week is a new one from SK Guns. It's another themed 1911. This time it's based on a Smith & Wesson 1911 in 45 ACP. It's called the Athena, and it's themed with gold inlays, engraving, and some blue tones from the steel itself. You can get that with heat treating. The grips are Kieranite, which looks sort of like a pearl, and the front sight has a tiny little emerald in it. This is a 200 gun limited run, and the MSRP is $2,800. I think it's interesting that all this company seems to do is limited run guns, but most of them are pretty good. You kind of figure if they're just doing a bunch of limited guns, some of them are going to suck, but it's interesting that they're able to pull that off, I guess. Like I said in the opening of the show, TGC has existed for 9 years now. We've put out almost 400 episodes of TGC News, over 1,000 videos total, and we're lucky enough to have found an audience with hundreds of thousands of people. The fact that any of you give a and come back week to week is just kind of amazing to me. To anyone out there that's talking all the time, I know I see you, and you still come back week to week. I appreciate your smooth brain too. GunCon is about to have its 3rd event with almost 1,500 people involved, which is crazy. This journey overall has just been wild. Special thanks to Izzy, the editor. I know he's watching. He'll probably put something on the screen as well, for tackling the task of getting these videos out to you guys since 2016. And again, a massive thank you to those out there watching. Thanks for giving a shit. We'll see you soon.